Hey guys, Kyle Manzano with Manzano Tactical and Manzano Munitions. Today we're going to be talking about Modlite's PL350C and different ways to activate the switches. So when we're shooting, guys, a lot of the things that we start implementing, like let's say low light with a flashlight, for example, I don't want to start changing the way that I grip the gun, or like during my draw, I don't want to start changing how I do this just because I now have to actuate a light. So what I like to do is I like to use my offhand, I'm left-handed, my offhand thumb to push down on the light, and then I go back to the natural grip that I use when I shoot. And then when I'm done shooting, I use my pointer finger to kick up to turn it off. So when I draw out, it's nice and seamless on the way up. And then when I'm done, off and then holster. Now, another technique that some people talk about is instead of coming down with your thumb, during the draw, you're actually rolling it into the knuckle. So on my way up, instead of hitting it with thumb and then coming back to my grip, I'm actually rolling it into my hand and then grip. And then once I'm done shooting, I hit it down with my thumb. So kind of your two options are either up, thumb, shoot, pointer finger knuckle goes up, turns it off. Your second option is gun comes out, roll it into your hand, you get your grip, and then once you're done here, thumb comes down to turn it off, and then you holster like that. All right guys, now we're gonna talk about one-handed light manipulations. What I don't want you to do is I don't want you guys to go into autopilot mode, trying to actuate your light, skip the light, and then accidentally go down to the trigger when you didn't mean to. So when we're doing one-handed stuff, instead of coming down to the light and then trigger, I always recommend going underneath the light and kicking it up. The reason for this is, how often do we go underneath the light and then kick it up to turn it on? Never, right? How often does our trigger finger do that? Never. But how often does our finger go from the frame down to the trigger? I mean, 1,000 times at the range, 500 times every time you go to the range. So what I want you to do is I want you to have a cognitive thought process. Like, you actually have to mentally think about bringing your finger underneath, sliding it up to turn it on one-handed, and then obviously you just kick it back down with your trigger finger. If you guys have never taken a low light class, I highly recommend that you find a reputable local instructor who's willing to teach you guys low light. The reason for that is a lot of people have a lot of theories or things that they think might work, but then once they actually start putting rounds down range in a low light setting, they realize real quick that maybe that doesn't work as well as they thought it would. So one of the ones that I hear all the time is momentary versus constant on. Now, even when I had my Streamlight, which does have a momentary feature to it, I would still do on and off. I did not ever worry about doing like this, like half on, hold it, and then while I'm trying to shoot, get my grip. Because when we draw out with the gun and we get our grip, I want it to be very seamless to be able to actuate the light and then to be able to go back to my natural grip and then turn off my light and then go back to my natural grip. If you guys think about rifles and the way that rifles are laid out, what people try to do is they try to put the button roughly where their natural grip is so that there's not much movement occurring when you're actually using the light. When you go to handguns, it should be the same thing. You should be able to turn the light on and off without changing your natural grip a ton. I cannot emphasize it enough. You should be able to actuate your light, have that good grip, turn your light off while keeping that good constant grip. One of the things I really like about Modlite systems is the ability to kind of swap heads and just overall the modularity that it provides. So this is a PL350C, but if I wanted to take this head off because maybe I was going to go to a low light competition or maybe I was going to take a low light class, I'm actually able to take this head off versus the older OKW head, and I'm able to screw it on and use that as my light. So I can swap between those. The other thing that I can swap between as well is the legacy bodies, the previous Pistol Light bodies, right, where it doesn't have that tri-cut, it has that rounded look to it. I'm able to take the new 350C head and use that on that body. So those are some of the ways that you're able to actuate the lights on the Modlite PL350C. Cannot emphasize this enough, guys. Please continue to work on just actuating your lights. What I see in my low light classes is that guys who are familiar with turning their lights on and off, it's very clear that they're able to focus on other portions of either the drill or the class that we're gonna be talking about, versus guys who are still kind of new to actuating their lights. They're so focused on just turning the light on and off that it's hard to grasp all the concepts and kind of put them all together. If you guys are at home, again, just dry fire. This is the technique I personally prefer, which is thumb down to turn on, pointing finger up to turn it off. That's my personal technique, but there's a lot of guys out there who like a variety of other techniques. Find a technique that works for you guys and just completely like make sure that that is a part of your dry fire regimen, because what a lot of people do is they'll slap these lights on and then they don't even know how to like turn them on or turn them off efficiently. So make sure you guys get those reps in dry fire. Once you guys have that good base knowledge down, go out, take a low light class from a reputable instructor and kind of figure out the limitations and the capabilities of these lights.